Alexander Boris de Pfeffel Johnson, often referred to as Boris Johnson, is a prominent British politician, journalist, and writer who served as the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom from July 2019 to September 2022. Known for his flamboyant personality, colorful rhetoric, and controversial political decisions, Johnson has been a central figure in British politics for over 2 decades. Early life and education. Boris Johnson was born on June 19, 1964, in New York City to British parents Stanley Johnson and Charlotte Fawcett. His birth in the U.S. granted him dual citizenship, although he renounced his American citizenship in 2016. Johnson comes from a family with deep political and intellectual roots. His father was a politician and author who worked for the European Commission, while his mother was an artist. Johnson's early years were marked by a privileged yet nomadic upbringing. He attended several prestigious schools, including the European School in Brussels, before enrolling at Ashdown House Preparatory School and Eton College, one of Britain's most elite institutions. Known for his wit and classical knowledge, Johnson developed a keen interest in politics and history during these formative years. Following Eton, Johnson attended Balliol College at the University of Oxford, where he studied classics. During his time at Oxford, he became the president of the Oxford Union, a prestigious debating society, which gave him early exposure to the political world. Johnson was also a member of the infamous Bullingdon Club, an exclusive society known for its raucous behavior. His experience at Oxford shaped his rhetorical style and established connections that would influence his political career. Journalism career. After university, Boris Johnson pursued a career in journalism, starting as a trainee reporter at The Times. However, his tenure at the newspaper was short-lived after he was dismissed for fabricating a quote. Undeterred, he moved to the Daily Telegraph, where he eventually became the Brussels correspondent from 1989 to 1994. During his time in Brussels, Johnson became known for his Eurosceptic reporting, often exaggerating stories about the European Union, which contributed to the growing skepticism towards the EU in the UK. Johnson's columns helped shape the Eurosceptic sentiment within the Conservative Party and made him a well-known figure in British political circles. He later became the assistant editor of The Telegraph and also wrote for The Spectator, a conservative magazine, serving as its editor from 1999 to 2005. Entry into politics. Boris Johnson's political career began in earnest when he was elected as the Conservative Member of Parliament, MP, for Henley in 2001. Known for his wit and charm, Johnson quickly gained a reputation as a media-friendly politician, frequently appearing on British television programs. His somewhat bumbling persona and humorous speeches endeared him to many, but his career was not without controversy. He was often criticized for gaffes and insensitive comments, and his personal life was a frequent subject of tabloid gossip. In 2008, Johnson took a major step in his political career by running for Mayor of London. To the surprise of many, he defeated the incumbent Ken Livingstone. A victory attributed to his charismatic campaigning and appeal across party lines. During his tenure as mayor, Johnson oversaw significant infrastructure projects, including the introduction of the Boris Bike cycle-sharing scheme and the successful hosting of the 2012 London Olympics. His time as mayor was marked by a mix of policy successes and controversies, particularly around his handling of transport and housing issues. Johnson was re-elected as mayor in 2012 and served until 2016. His tenure boosted his national profile, positioning him as one of the most popular and recognizable politicians in the UK. Role in the Brexit campaign. One of the most defining moments of Boris Johnson's career was his decision to back the Leave campaign during the 2016 EU referendum. Despite being known as a more moderate conservative, Johnson became the face of the Leave campaign, arguing that Britain would be better off outside the European Union. His decision was seen by many as politically opportunistic, as he had previously expressed more favorable views towards the EU. Nonetheless, His charismatic leadership and ability to tap into the public's frustrations with the EU were key factors in the eventual victory of the Leave campaign. The success of the Brexit campaign thrust Johnson into the political spotlight once again, and he became one of the frontrunners to succeed David Cameron as leader of the Conservative Party. However, Johnson's leadership bid fell apart when his ally, Michael Gove, withdrew support, causing Johnson to step back from the race. Instead, Theresa May became the Prime Minister, and Johnson was appointed as Foreign Secretary in her government. Foreign Secretary and leadership ambitions. As Foreign Secretary from 2016 to 2018, Johnson faced criticism for his handling of diplomatic matters. His tenure was marked by a series of gaffes and strained relationships with international partners, particularly regarding his comments on sensitive issues such as the war in Yemen and the imprisonment of British-Iranian citizen Nazanin Zaghari-Ratcliffe. Johnson resigned as Foreign Secretary in July 2018 in protest of Theresa May's proposed Brexit deal, which he felt did not go far enough in severing ties with the EU. His resignation set the stage for his eventual leadership challenge. Prime Ministership and Brexit. After Theresa May's resignation in 2019, Boris Johnson was elected leader of the Conservative Party and became Prime Minister on July 24, 2019. His primary mission was to get Brexit done, and he achieved this by renegotiating a withdrawal agreement with the EU and securing a resounding victory in the December 2019 general election. His campaign slogan, "Get Brexit Done," resonated with voters, and the Conservatives won their largest parliamentary majority since 1987. Johnson's government officially took the UK out of the European Union on January 31, 2020, ending over 4 decades of membership. His handling of Brexit, though criticised by some, fulfilled his promise to the British electorate. COVID-19 pandemic and challenges as Prime Minister. Boris Johnson's tenure as Prime Minister was quickly overshadowed by the COVID-19 pandemic, which posed significant challenges for his government. Initially criticized for his delayed response to the virus, Johnson himself contracted COVID-19 in March 2020 and was hospitalized in intensive care. His experience with the virus reportedly changed his perspective on the pandemic, leading to more stringent measures. Johnson's handling of the pandemic was polarizing, with some praising his government's vaccine rollout and others criticizing its inconsistent messaging and handling of lockdowns. The pandemic also exposed deep divisions within the Conservative Party over economic policies, public health, and leadership, scandals and downfall. Throughout his political career, Boris Johnson was no stranger to scandal. Allegations of cronyism, accusations of lying, and controversies surrounding his personal conduct plagued his time as Prime Minister. In 2021, the Partygate scandal, in which Johnson and members of his staff were accused of holding parties at Downing Street during COVID-19 lockdowns, severely damaged his reputation. Public outrage and internal party dissent grew, leading to mounting pressure on Johnson to resign. In July 2022, following a series of high-profile resignations from his cabinet and widespread criticism over his leadership, Johnson announced his resignation as Conservative Party leader. He formally stepped down as Prime Minister in September 2022, and Liz Truss succeeded him. Legacy. Boris Johnson's legacy is a complex one. He will be remembered as the charismatic and controversial leader who guided the UK through the turbulent Brexit years and the global COVID-19 pandemic. His populist rhetoric and political maneuvering reshaped British politics, while his leadership style drew both admiration and fierce criticism. Despite the controversies and scandals that marred his time in office, Johnson's impact on the UK's political landscape is undeniable. Today, Boris Johnson continues to be an influential figure in British politics and media, though his future ambitions remain unclear. His story, characterized by triumphs, setbacks, and controversy, reflects both the resilience and unpredictability that have come to define his public life.